You are listening to 40 Weeks with Vanessa Merton, host of the Pregnancy Podcast. Thank you for tuning in to the 40 Weeks podcast. Welcome to week 27. Your little baby that was the size of a zucchini last week is growing this week to the size of a head of cauliflower. This week, your little one measures 14 inches or 35.5 centimeters, and they weigh 1.7 pounds or about 760 grams. Can you believe this is the last week of the second trimester? I hope that this trimester has been good to you and that you are really excited for the final third of your pregnancy. Your little one's immune system is gearing up for life outside the womb. They have also probably discovered thumb sucking, which isn't such a bad thing. When they suck their thumb in the womb, it can help strengthen their cheeks and jaw. At this point, you can likely feel when your baby has the hiccups. These tend to feel like spasms in your belly and tend to end relatively quickly. If it seems like this happens a lot, your baby is perfectly fine in there and you don't need to worry about them hiccuping. It is perfectly normal. Lately, you may be feeling your uterus tighten and clench for as long as 2 minutes. The sensation shouldn't be painful, but they can cause some discomfort. They're called Braxton-Hicks Contractions, which many women mistake for labor. There is an entire episode on this on the Pregnancy Podcast, and I will link to it in the show notes. You can check out episode 18 of the Pregnancy Podcast to learn all about Braxton-Hicks Contractions at pregnancypodcast.com/episode 18. We go into what these are and how you can tell the difference between Braxton-Hicks and real labor contractions. At 27 weeks, your uterus is still expanding and is now the size of a basketball. Enjoy showing off that bump. You only have a few months left of being pregnant. After next week, you might have a fetal non-stress test at some point. This is a simple, non-invasive test performed in pregnancies over 28 weeks and involves attaching one belt to mom's abdomen to measure fetal heart rate and another belt to measure contractions. Movement, heart rate, and reactivity of the heart rate to movement is measured for about 20 to 30 minutes. If the baby does not move, it doesn't necessarily indicate that there's any problem. Your little one could just be asleep. The test is named non-stress because no stress is placed on the baby during the test. This and all other non-invasive tests are covered in detail in episode 15 of the Pregnancy Podcast, and you can listen to it at pregnancypodcast.com/episode 15. Tip for dad: find out if your partner wants to take maternity photos or some photos of the two of you while they're pregnant. Even if you aren't super into taking photos, it might be important to your partner. It would probably be super helpful to find some possible photographers, price out some package options, and scope out some cool photo shoot locations if it's something that you two want to do. Thank you for tuning in. Show notes for this episode can be found at pregnancypodcast.com/week 27. Next week, your baby might be dreaming when they sleep, and until then, I wish you the very best for your pregnancy journey. There are so many awesome resources available to you at pregnancypodcast.com, and you can sign up with your email address and your due date to get a weekly email with a link to the episode for your specific week every week in your inbox. I look forward to seeing you in the Pregnancy Podcast Facebook group, which is a great place not only to connect with some other parents-to-be, but also to be able to ask questions and get answers specific to things that you are dealing with and planning for your pregnancy and birth.